Okay, joining me for a special Mother's Day themed episode. It's not my mother, but my brother, Mike Acierno. Mike, how you doing right about now?
Well, I'm getting sick of quarantine, but my belly's full of Chick-fil-A, so how mad can I really be?
All right. Nice to know that you got an optimistic look at things. And when I say Mother's Day themed episode, we're going to review the film that we all watched as a family this past Mother's Day, courtesy of our mother. Thank you very much, Mom. And that film just happened to be Moonstruck. Moonstruck follows a Brooklyn accountant as she finds herself in deep shit when she falls for the brother of her fiancé. The film is directed by Jewison, with the script by John Patrick Shanley, and stars Cher, Nicolas Cage, Vincent Gardenia, Aiello, and Olympia Dukakis. Now, Mike, what'd you think of this movie overall?
On paper, this movie should be awful, because I can't give you a single quality about this movie that I could say this was a good movie because of reasons X, Y, and Z. In spite of that, I adore this movie, and I can't tell you why. There's something about this movie. It's the overacting of Nick Cage. It's the underacting of Cher.
Yep.
All of this culminates together to form the weirdest chemistry you've ever seen of someone who's clearly trying too hard and someone else who really isn't trying hard enough. But they find like this weird relationship in the movie, and it's something I haven't seen in any other movie, for better or for worse. I don't know yet.
Yeah, honestly, I'm happy that we're touching upon Cher and Nicolas Cage first because I really did like the majority of this movie. Like, I think outside of those two, the movie does have a lot going for it. But just starting out with Cher and Nicolas Cage, Cher actually won the Academy Award for this movie, and I'm trying to figure out how the fuck that happened.
Who else is up for the running?
I honestly don't remember off the top of my head, but
Okay.
but the win is widely regarded as one of the worst Best Actress wins.
Yeah, because she was legitimate garbage. Like, I'm not even gonna.
I'm still trying to picture, no matter what was in the running that year. Mm-hmm. You mean to tell me there were no...
They were all worse than
that
this?
they were all worse than this? Or that there weren't any other lead actress performances that could have been better than this that you could have nominated? Not even just given the award to, just nominated.
Yeah, but...
I mean, for just a little bit more context, she plays the lead role, Loretta Castorini. She is the accountant who just can't seem to keep it zipped.
Can we talk about that for a sec? Because the movie doesn't really go into, like, super in-depth detail about this. Like, the movie starts off with her boyfriend proposing to her. She says yes, and she goes, oh, whatever, I like him, I don't really love him, to her mom. And the mom says it's a good thing, I don't get it either. And then the next day, she goes to talk to the brother, and then she sleeps with the brother. But that's, like, literally a day. She just said yes to this guy, and it wasn't even, like, a romantic gesture. Like, Nick Cage eats a steak she cooks, flips a table, picks her up and carries her to the bed. And then, like, he picks her up, and she goes, where are we going? And then
he's like,
to
the bed!
He goes to the bed. She goes, oh, I don't care. Like, that's the response. Like, I don't care. It's fine. We'll go to the bed. You're not my fiance's brother or anything. It's really, really strange. The movie doesn't really go super in depth with that.
I think maybe the only way that I could see this is just like, okay, it's passion versus stability. Again, not advocating for sleeping with the sibling of your fiance, but that's the only way that I could see the movie, like, justifying, not even justifying, but at least explaining, like, where it's coming from.
Okay, so then let's go, what was it, scene or two before that, where she sees him for the first time in person?
Yeah.
Because they had a scene where she's, like, where they're talking on the phone, and he goes, like, oh, you marrying my brother? And she goes, yeah. And he goes, mistake, click.
Yeah.
And then the next day, she's like, hey, we talked on the phone. And then he gives, like, the greatest over-delivery. And Nick Cage puts on a masterclass in overacting in this movie. It's insane. Like, I feel like the director was talking to Nick Cage, like, oh, well, this is what your character is feeling, and this is your character's motivation. And Nick Cage was just like, all right, I'm going to Leroy Jenkins this bitch.
Yeah.
Like, he just goes all out. He just goes all out. He overacts the entire time. He screams right off the bat. He's like, get the big knife! I'm going to kill myself! Right off the bat. And, like, the first time, like, really meeting her.
But it's still, here's the thing, that scene is great for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, that's right. By the way, I'm bashing that scene because it's obvious overacting, but it's my favorite scene in the entire movie.
Oh, yeah, it's
hysterical.
It's so funny.
It's so funny.
It's funny, like I said, it's funny for all the wrong reasons. But, like, I remember looking at the consensus on Rotten Tomatoes, and, like, it starts out with, led by energetic performances from Cher and Nicolas Cage. I'm like...
Energetic from Nick Cage?
Yeah, I guess, but Cher, no, not so much. I mean, you could have struck her with a bolt of lightning, and she wouldn't have had the energy that she needed to. But no.
I feel like she was, like, looking at Nick Cage's overacting. She's like, oh, shit, I gotta balance that out. And she's like, I'm gonna be bored this entire movie.
Yeah. Imagine if that was all intentional. I doubt it was. I'm gonna be honest, I doubt it was on their parts. But and going to, like, what you were saying about the two of them working off of each other, as bad as the two of them are, their chemistry together, it's the weirdest thing. Their chemistry together is honestly
it's really
not
strange.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's really not bad. It was actually pretty good. Like, the two of them are so bad together, it works.
Yeah. Like at one point he's like, get the big knife, and she's like, what are you doing? Don't get the big knife.
It's like, oh no, please, no.
I'm gonna cut my throat.
And I want you to watch me kill myself.
Watch. No.
I lost my head. I lost my pride.
Your brother wants you to come to our wedding. Like it's very, but like we're kind of parodying it, but that's kind of how it sounds, and yet it looks way better than what we're kind of portraying it as.
Yeah, it looks
really strange.
It looks way better. It's not particularly good, but the entertainment value A+. But other than that, I'd still really enjoyed this movie. I think this movie has a lot. It sucks that Cher and Nicolas Cage are the lead, so they do drag this movie down just a bit. They don't tank it for sure. I don't think the movie comes even close to tanking. But if it wasn't for literally everything else in the movie being as great as it was, this movie wouldn't be nearly as enjoyable. Like the actor Vincent Gardenia, she plays Cher's dad. He was great, and it was here's the movie has a very zany, over the top quality to it.
Decent,
Yeah, it's still, in my opinion, it kind of worked, and like everything for the most part like fit into that description. Like I said, the father, he's a bit over the top, but like dramatic. But again, it's not like overacting. You know what I mean? Like
Nick Cage is overacting. He acts.
Yeah,
he does his job, and he's not like overdoing it either.
Yeah.
But can we talk about another thing? Like everybody fucks everybody in this movie, and nobody gives a shit.
Yep.
So like at the very end of the movie, am I allowed to spoil? I mean, this is from the 80s.
Yeah, honestly, this movie's turning 33 this year. You gotta.
If you haven't seen it at this point, then that's on you. I don't care.
Yeah.
But at one point, like at the very end of the movie, the Cher's mom finds out that her dad has been cheating on her, and she's like, "I want you to stop seeing her," but like not like very. I guess it runs in the family being a shitty actress because she doesn't like get mad or anything. She's like, "Oh, just stop."
Well, I mean,
seeing her.
I don't know if it's that. I don't think it's attributed to bad acting.
No, not bad acting. I mean like very flat affect. Like the character in the movie doesn't really like.
I think she's just a bit more jaded at this point too, and and it's not like she doesn't get mad at all. Like she's stern, she holds her ground. Like she's not like really, she doesn't lose her cool, but she's
like you just found your husband's cheating on you. If you're gonna lose your cool, it should be at that point.
Yeah, well, I mean, everyone handles things differently, right?
True. But she goes, "I want you to stop seeing her," and then the husband makes like this big pony show, like, okay, like. That was it.
And honestly, here's the thing.
It's hysterical.
It's funny, and and honestly, like I said, it's not a very down to earth movie. Mm-hmm. In terms of the film's like entire personality, maybe that's the right way to go about it. Like I said, it's not very down to earth. It's very zany, and it works. Like that, like the entire zany overall feeling of the film.
That's a good way of putting it.
That wasn't. There's no doubt in my mind that was intentional, and it works. It definitely works.
No, but I'm saying like in terms of the plot, it's really, really weird.
Yeah. No, I can't even say bad. It's just weird.
No, but it's like an overarching theme in the movie too. Because then what's his face? I don't even remember the brother's name because he was such a schmuck in this movie.
The actor's Danny Aiello. The brother's Johnny.
Ronnie
and Johnny. Ronnie and Johnny.
Brothers' names are Ronnie and Johnny, by the way. That was actually I giggled a little bit when I first saw that.
It's funny. Again, it works. It's funny.
For context, Johnny is the brother who she's engaged to initially. He finds out. After saying, "I can't marry you anymore," his brother immediately proposes to her. So he finds out basically, okay, she's been fucking this guy for the past 2 days while I've been in Sicily visiting her dying mother, who's apparently not actually, like, there's so many weird things about this movie. Like, how I put this together is he makes up an excuse to go see his mom in Sicily by saying she's dying. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. Why can't he just say, "Hey, I'm going to visit my mom in Sicily"?
But no, I think he actually thought that she was dying. Like, he did actually think that she was dying. I think the mother was pulling the wool over him for some reason.
For what?
I don't know. Maybe to get her son to visit her? I don't know.
Alright, I hadn't considered that. I'll say that's maybe a possibility.
Because, he's
boy, too.
Oh, no, he's definitely a mama's boy, for sure. He was definitely convinced that his mother was dying. There's no doubt in my mind about that.
Yeah, but the mother looks fine when you see her in, like, the two scenes.
He's also a bit of an idiot, too.
Right.
Honestly, like I said, the movie has a very over-the-top quality to it all that was definitely intentional, and I feel like that worked very much. One of the things that I feel like a director's done a really good job, no matter what the overall feeling of the movie is supposed to be. Like, when you're there, when you feel like you're there in the world of the movie, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yep.
Like that, I definitely got this feeling very much with this movie.
Totally agree.
Yeah, I felt like I was in the room, watching all this batshit crazy stuff happen. I feel like I was like the movie takes place in Brooklyn Heights, in Brooklyn for the most part. In case you didn't figure out where Brooklyn Heights is, what borough. But I very much felt like I was a part of that world while I was watching this movie. Overall, I do think the movie's very well written, and it's weird. The things that it doesn't really address, it didn't bother me because I feel like again, going with that crazy out of whack feeling that this movie has, like, it kind of brushing past certain things didn't bother me, whereas I feel like if this movie had a more down-to-earth feel to it all, like, the brother-sibling rivalry, like, not really getting patched up or whatever, that would have bothered me if this movie had that kind of feeling. But it doesn't have that kind of feeling.
Yeah, see, like I said when we first started filming, I do legitimately enjoy this movie.
Yeah.
I'm only listing bad things because on paper, these are all bad things. But when you actually watch the movie, it comes together in a weird way that it doesn't make sense on paper.
Exactly. It doesn't make sense that this movie works as much as it does, but it really does. Like I said, if this movie had a different overall feeling, it wouldn't have worked. Just like, okay, I just found out my brother and my fiance were screwing each other. Like, all right.
Yeah, okay, that's
like,
fine.
oh, okay. But again, with this movie, it's fine. With a more realistic approach, that would not have worked at all. But again, like, even like with this movie, it's like crazy vibes, it's crazy personality. It's still very witty. It's very funny. Like, I can't say I disliked
there are moments in the movie, like, again, I'm saying all these things that are bad, that are funny, that aren't meant to be funny, but there are legitimate moments in the movie that are meant to be funny and are still pretty funny.
Yeah. Yeah, like the scene at the end when Cher... Yeah, oh my god, that was perfect. Perfect.
Because that's how you kind of know, like, okay, like, this whole weird, zany feeling is supposed to be, like, I'm not...
Yeah, it's totally
I'm not weird
intentional.
for feeling this. This is definitely intentional.
Yeah, this is definitely intentional. And, like, there are times when you can tell when a movie goes in a certain direction that it's not supposed to go in.
Yeah.
This movie absolutely means to go in the direction that it goes in, and it works in terrific fashion.
I feel like the entire movie, time I'm watching the movie, I'm like, is this supposed to be this crazy? Is it intentional? Is this all a big joke? And then when he mentions that one, I'm confused. I'm like, oh, thank God.
That's like, it's not just, like, I feel like that was a little nudge at it's not breaking the fourth wall so much, but it's definitely nudging at the fourth wall. It's just like, I'm confused. I'm with you. I'm
exactly.
But no, there's so many funny moments in this movie, and for the most part, I think the performances are really terrific. Like I said, the guy who plays the father, Vincent Gardenia, I love him so much.
He's great. The mother, I said before that, like, bad acting runs it. I didn't mean, like, bad acting. I meant, like, flat affect, I guess you could say.
I guess lack of a passionate reaction to something like that. Because, like, honestly, even acting,
great.
Yeah, the actress Olympia Dukakis, she won.
Yeah,
she won.
Great.
That made sense. The screenplay winning, that made sense.
Yeah.
Cher winning, no, that didn't make any sense at all. And then the movie, of course, is nominated for Best Picture, Directing, and Supporting Actor for Vincent Gardenia. That all makes sense. Cher should not have been anywhere near the Oscars. She should not have. Nicolas Cage wasn't even nominated. That's not exactly a surprise. But again, overall, I enjoyed this movie very, very much. Despite Cher and Nicolas Cage, unfortunately, playing as big a role as they do, and as bad as they are, this movie wouldn't work nearly as well if it wasn't for its completely intentional absurdity, and for the fact that everything else and every other part of this movie works so well. So, I'm going to give this a 90.
I would give it like an 85.
85?
Yeah, definitely an 85. It was a good movie.
Yeah, because it is a very enjoyable movie. There are a lot of things about this movie, but that really shouldn't work. And for most other movies, if they went about the way that this movie goes, they would fall flat on its face. Yeah. I had a great time watching this movie. So, Mom, thank you so much for picking this one. Mike, again, thank you. I'm Joe Acierno. This has been Real Talk.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.